On Othello, personally, I love using 2-gate Dark Templar. It's got to be my favorite build to use on this map because of the fact that, you know, 2-gate range is good for you able to pressure the wall, which they usually do. And then the Dark Templar come in, and if you snipe off the turrets correctly with ranged goons, then you can usually delay the natural for a long time.
We haven't seen I haven't seen Jeff open up Dark Templar a lot in the replays I saw of him though. So I'm not sure if he'll do that. What do you think about his decision to follow up Dark Templar last game though? I thought it was pretty impressive, along with the proxy
I think
game.
that was a good move, and it was really necessary for him to do that to stall for some time. And you know, Dark Templars are the best stalling tool in the game because they're just so annoying. Anyway, I think we're about to get underway for the fifth set. Yes, the fifth game. And so this could be the deciding match in say TSL, but no, not in Liquibition. We need 4 games to win, not 3. And so here we go on Othello. And here we have JF spawning at the top left position, and we've got Braddock spawning down the bottom left, which is basically exactly what we had on the first game, but mirrored. What do you think? How do you think that's going to affect the game, Rage?
Well, it's not really. Well, yeah, it's mirrored. I think these positions, of course, favor dropship play for Braddock less because the cliff is away from his position. He has to cross the map with his dropship to get to the cliff. So if he scouts JF first, he'll be more reluctant to go for dropship play.
That's an interesting point you raised because Othello isn't perfectly symmetrical. I mean, you've got the bases are kind of taken one and then rotated around clockwise and then rotated again and again and again, which means that the natural and cliff positioning on this side of the map is different to how it was on the other side. So really, for this to be a true mirror, is these positions should have to be reversed, I suppose, because of the different natural formation.
Yeah, indeed, that's correct.
Yeah. And
so
we see here that
this.
We see JF putting down his first gateway and scouting again, just like he has been doing throughout the series. So that's pretty standard. And Braddock doesn't look like he's doing anything funny, and he'll probably do the standard 12-12.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that Braddock walled on this map last time, but isn't gonna wall this time. And I think he walled last time to hide his starport, to hide his build order, to hide the fact that he was keeping SCVs on gas. So the fact that he's not walling this time makes me think he's going for a more standard siege expand.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. I mean, this time JF is scouting away from Braddock, so he'll find him last. Which, you know, because he hasn't walled in, that's not going to be too big of a deal, although he'll have some stupid Marines on there on the ramp and stuff. But this definitely tells you he's not going to be trying to hide anything. He's just going to play it straight up standard, which should work in JF's favor, because I expect some kind of harass, some kind of Reaver or Dark Templar to follow this up really early on, and try and get an early game advantage to ride it into the mid game, and then cement that with a few extra bases.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if we look at Braddock's base now, he pulled one SCV off gas, which leads to believe he's going for a siege expand here. If we look at JF's base, he's holding off on range, probably for a fast robo.
Yeah, I mean, this is the build that he tried to use in the first game, and... Oh no, it's a Citadel of Adun, he's going for the Dark Templar, woohoo! I love this build on this map. It's so effective, because while that natural doesn't seem that open, if you can take out that power generator, it's very easy to rush in with Dragoons and get a good shot at the natural while the Dark Templars get to work on it.
Yeah, and it is a 2-gate Dark Templar build, as you said. I really didn't expect this of him, but you called it.
Yeah, well, it's a great build. Pretty much every Terran player in the universe hates it, because it's one of the more annoying builds you can use. Braddock is just going to go for the standard FD. Well, actually, he's going to go for probably a siege expand, as you said. And if JF can time this right with a nice... I think he skipped the range, though, so he probably won't be pushing in hard with the Dragoons, and will instead just focus on going with the Dark Templar push, which it works, but I like the range variation better. But still, it's a very effective build.
Yeah, and Braddock has no idea what JF is up to here. He really needs a pretty early engineering bay to cope with this build, and if he gets this engineering bay after siege mode, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with these DTs. It'll surely delay his natural if it doesn't do any SCV damage.
There was a small tell there when Braddock's SCV came in to try to get in. He must have noticed that those Dragoons don't have range, and when those Dragoons don't have range, you think that there's something fishy going on. And yeah, he's already adding the engineering bay because he didn't see range on those Dragoons. So that engineering bay is going to come in for a nice timing and be able to... It should be able to prevent this Dark Templar harass rather effectively if he positions those turrets right.
Actually, I think those turrets are going to be too late, unless he... Yeah, I think that the turrets are going to be too late at the natural. And JF is gonna be able to delay that natural a lot.
I disagree. That's a fairly long rush distance on Othello, and if he gets it done like right now, he should be able to survive. And there's the first turret, and given that these Dragoons don't take it out, he should just make it. And here comes the Dragoons,
doing a cute wall of that turret. DTs would normally take this turret out immediately,
there
but
we go.
because of that wall, wow, that wall is nice.
That is exactly what you expect from a Terran player.
JF got one Dark Templar.
He's got one Dark Templar harassing in the main though, so that's good. But it only got one kill, so it's not really working out. The harass isn't working out as well as he'd liked. But it has forced JF to push in with turrets, or the Braddock to push in with turrets rather than get concept. But I mean, Braddock defended that really well, and it should really be because he was able to see that those Dragoons didn't have range, and that's very nicely adapted by him.
Yeah, and it puts JF ahead. Braddock is now only mining off 7 mineral chunks instead of 8. And that puts him at an economical disadvantage, and he has to repair the command center, he has to build turrets, he has to... I think that this harass was pretty effective, actually.
I'd say they've come out about even off it, really. I mean, JF's expansions are much slower, but he has had to commit quite a lot of resources to defending his base. I mean, JF would be happy with that, given how good Braddock's timing was with those turrets. I mean, it's the best he could have hoped for. And as we can see, we got JF double expanding, and that's something I like doing following up from the Dark Templars. Simply because Dark Templars give you unparalleled map control if they don't have a scan. And even if they do have scan, you can easily waste those scans and be able to still control the map with Dark Templar and delay any kind of timing push. So JF looks to be at a fairly good advantage now, I'd say, actually.
Yeah, he looks to be pulling ahead. Braddock's academy is only halfway here, so he's not going to be able to put a lot of pressure on JF when his scans do finish, because JF also delayed the second factory. So Braddock looks to be in a really bad position here. He's not gonna have a lot of forces anytime soon. So to me, the correct decision for Braddock would be try and expand again with some turrets.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what you usually see Terran players do anyway. They try to take their third base fast because it's easy, and that usually puts pressure on the Protoss to either rush in and try your luck, or take another base. And with JF taking a quick 2 bases, I think he's really got to build some units before he can actually take that 4th base, or else he's just going to get steamrolled with no units.
Looks like Braddock is doing exactly what I predicted here, and going for his third base, he knows he doesn't have enough units to attack, and he knows Jeff is pulling ahead if he just sits there on 2 bases and macros up. So he's gonna take that third pretty soon here.
Yeah, and JF is again going with the scouting pylons everywhere. I mean, he's very aware that Braddock is loving the dropship play, and so those pylons are in reasonably good positions to scout if Braddock comes in and drops on that cliff above his third. Because I mean, if you can get tanks up there without a shuttle, or get tanks up there without you knowing, then you're going to lose quite a few probes, and that's not what JF needs right now. He needs to keep every single unit alive.
Yeah, that's very true. Meanwhile, Braddock is attempting some vulture harass, but JF has a lot of goons and observer coming out soon, so this shouldn't be able to do any damage.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like way at the start of the series, Braddock loves to push and then take his third at the same time. In this case, it's a habit which isn't beneficial. Oh, and JF's got a good timing here because those tanks aren't sieged yet, and those dragoons are going to be able to rush in and be able to take out that natural if he doesn't get back. And here comes Braddock coming back, but his position is terrible. It's quite terrible because he had to move out with tanks that weren't sieged, and JF is doing an excellent job of being able to stop Braddock from moving out and doing exactly what he wants to do. And now this push is coming up much stronger up into the third base here, and I'd be surprised if Braddock didn't know how to do any damage. Oh, here he comes back. JF has managed to take out that tank at Braddock's third base, and he's doing a very good job of stopping those units from being able to get out with those dragoons. Oh, and he's sniping off another tank. Very, very good play from JF. He's doing exactly what he needs to do with very, very few units. With the low unit commitment there and being able to get so many kills. I mean, oh, he's getting more tank kills. This is amazing. This is excellent play from JF. He's now been able to stall that push for so long, took out a good deal of vultures, took out a good deal of tanks, and any kind of push at this stage from Braddock would be absolute suicide. And I really hope he doesn't push out and just decides to take that. Oh no, he's going to move out. This is not good.
This is not good indeed. Braddock is gonna... Oh, Braddock sieging up there at that kind of small entrance, but JF already has Zealots with Zealot speed, and I didn't think he expected that. And that's just gonna walk... JF's just gonna rape this push completely.
That was a beautiful Zealot break on those tanks right there, and that's why Braddock should have just cemented his position and not been forced to engage on ground, which is favourable for Protoss, because in that middle you don't have any kind of walls that you can tank or any good way you can get good position there. Those vultures that are going up to harass aren't going to be able to do anything because of the reinforcing goons, and JF's units are able to stop Braddock's third expansion attempt, and that's going to put Braddock way behind. He's lost his push, he's down on economy, and JF is completely running all over him in this game.
Yeah, but as we saw in the first Othello game, Braddock knows how to come back from a advantageous position. But this is a big disadvantage, and then I really doubt if he could make up for that.
This is very different from the first game. In the first game, they were kind of trading off tech units, and it was still a low macro affair. However, Braddock's lost the first engagement quite significantly, and as a result, JF has almost double the population of him, and that puts JF way ahead, obviously. And so while Braddock can come back from the disadvantage, this mid-game disadvantage as opposed to an early-game disadvantage is going to be much harder for him to come back from. And we got JF taking a fourth base, and without a third, Braddock's just going to be left in the duffs.
Yeah, I completely agree. Braddock doesn't look to be in a position where he can expand safely, and doesn't look to be in a position where he can attack. So basically, whatever he does, he's very much in danger.
Yeah, I mean, we've got JF adding arbiters into the mix now, and that's just going to seal the deal. Once those arbiters pop and Braddock sees them, he's going to realize, you know, I've been completely outclassed this game, and he's going to tap out. That's my feeling about this anyway.
Yeah, we can clearly see that JF doesn't want to make the same mistake he made in the last Othello game. He's adding this, the arbiters way earlier. Last time he added them at around 170 supply, now it's 130. And the arbiters are gonna wrap this game up, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, JF's 50 supply ahead, and that's a huge lead for PvT. And when most of your army is vultures, and JF's got a huge dragoon populace, that's not good either, because JF's got the right unit ratio to take out Braddock's 5 tanks. When you've got a lot of dragoons and very minimal zealots, and they've got a lot of vultures and minimal tanks, you know your army mix is right. And so, and once again, Braddock is trying to move out as he takes his third. This is a terrible habit. He needs to kick it. It's worse than smoking. He's not going to be able to make any kind of effective push with this. I know you do, Rage. I know you do. He's taken his... Braddock is going to be able to take his third, and is doing a decent job of pushing up, but he's just going to get sandwiched or countered by JF. In fact, he could do both. And we've got the vultures coming in, and they're not going to be able to get anywhere because JF is going for the counter, and he's going to be able to take out this third yet again. What do you think Braddock is going to be able to do from this position, Rage?
I don't think he's going to be able to do very much. That's a lot of vultures, though. If he really needs to bring back those goons to kill this. He needs to sandwich this, because his army is really out of position on this.
His army is out of position, but JF does have control over the natural, and because Brat doesn't have any tanks around, he could do a bit of damage in there. I think JF will be able to defend off this push, even if he has to trade his third for it. So I mean, those Templars do have Storm, and they should be able to take out a good deal of vultures.
It was a really nice push attempt, though, but JF is really experienced at this map and really knows what army movements he needs to do. Yeah. And this time he was countering to gain time for more zealots to spawn, but Braddock made the right decision, just going through and doing kind of a gamble, hoping he would be able to hold his natural while killing a lot of probes. And Braddock is looking decent. I wouldn't say good, but decent.
I completely disagree. There's the Arbiter and there's the GG.
Wow.
Braddock knows he can't win this with the Arbiter. He can't win this with the Arbiter out, and that's it. Basically, what JF did, he managed to come in, clear out the natural with his dragoons, and do a double storms on pretty much all the remainder of Braddock's army, and that pretty much put Braddock's army in a position where they couldn't do anything, while being able to take out a number of SCVs and units at his natural, which pretty much cut him out of the game. And once you got the Arbiter in play, that's it, game over. And so, what do you think about JF coming out and taking the lead 3-2 and coming into Lost Temple? How do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I'm really expecting Braddock to take Lost Temple. Although JF said he was confident on it too, I really expect Lost Temple to become a dropship play against Reaver play micro battle. We might see a raid again even to kill that shuttle. It's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. I remember when I was playing Lost Temple back in, must have been 2004, 2005, when the FD was just coming out. And when the FD came out, it pretty much ruined Lost Temple for me, because as a Protoss, you pretty much have to open with a robotics first, because you need to have the shuttle to defend your cliff if they decide to cliff. And so, when the FD came along, they had a number of options they could use. They could go 2-fac, they could go FD, they could go drop, they could go even just like the whole myriad of different 2-fac builds they can use, and that gets here in a lot of options. Whereas the Protoss are pretty much forced into one build, and that's when Lost Temple died for me. What do you think, Rage?
Yeah, like I said, I expect Braddock to win simply because of the imbalance. You have to go for a quick robo. So if Terran goes for Siege Expand or an FD, he gets a faster command center than Protoss' Nexus and gets a nice economical advantage.
And there's also things to consider about Lost Temple, like the positional disadvantages. If we've got Braddock spawning at say 9 and then JF spawning at 6, he can just turbo newbie his way through. I mean, how often do you see that these days?
What? I didn't quite get it.
The turbo newbie, there's two kinds of ways of doing it. There's one where you can build up a number of turrets and stuff on the Lost Temple cliff and then take control of the natural. However, if you're at 9 o'clock and your opponent's at 6, there's a little alleyway in between the bases where you can wall it off with supply depots and then build turrets and push across there with tanks and dropships. And that's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever have to stop with as a Protoss.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to call it the side push. I think I think the gayest turn you can play.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there are a number of ways to play gay Terran on this map. I mean, you can if Terran spawns at 12 and Protoss spawns at 3, you can push across onto their actual base from the low ground, thanks to tank siege. I mean, in older versions, you used to be able to get the gas with siege mode. I mean, that's Lost Temple. Alright, so we're about ready to get into game. Let's get this game going, alright? So we've got Game 6 coming up with Lost Temple with JF taking the lead in the series 3-2, and we'll see how this game plays out.